Hello, my name is Lizzie. Welcome to my channel, and for today's movie we are watching Deathdream. This is another one that I am going into completely blind. I have no clue what this film is about, but it definitely sounds like has an interesting title. I also saw it say like aka Dead of Night, so yeah. I'm interested. Really, I have absolutely no clue what this is about, though. But it is a beautiful, gloomy day out. So, yeah, we're going to watch a horror film. And I will be back with my thoughts. Okay, so just finished with watching. The sun has come up. It is sadly no longer a cloudy or rainy Saturday. It is now a bright and sunny one. But that's okay. So yeah, just finished, and I am really surprised that this is not a film that I have heard of until now. If you have not heard of this one, I very much suggest checking it out. I just watched it on Vudu, so there are some ads, not as many ads as there were when I tried to watch Don't Look Now on Crackle, or I guess when I did watch it. If you watch the review, I talk about it, but way too many ads. This one's Vudu, not so bad about the ads. But yeah, so I just watched it on there, and what it is about, so let's start at the beginning of the film, is you have these, it opens with these two soldiers that get shot and die. So next scene, it flashes to this family sitting at a dinner table, mother, father, daughter, and the mother just keeps talking about her son Andy, and you know, when he comes home, and she's really just like so excitedly talking about like just that day when that happens, like, you know, many mothers of soldiers do, and kind of not, you can tell that she kind of hasn't really ever thought about the idea that he might not come home, and the father and sister are both kind of sitting there a little like, okay, like, yeah, just let her, you know, feel how she feels. And then you hear a knock on the door, and you kind of know what's coming. Unfortunately, someone from the, I guess, military. I don't really know all the proper terms, so I do apologize in advance. But, you know, is there to tell them that unfortunately their son has died. And the mother right away is in denial. She's like, it's a lie, it's a lie. And, you know, obviously the father and sister are very upset. And then later on that night, they hear a noise, and suddenly they go to investigate, and suddenly their son Andy is in their house. So a bunch of stuff obviously happens, kind of like in between all of that. You know, you see a soldier that hitchhikes a ride with a truck driver, and they stop at one point at a restaurant, and he like the truck driver goes to a lot, and he kind of like announces to everybody that he's like giving the soldier like a ride. But that's what this movie is about. It's about this soldier that comes back from the dead, and it's kind of almost like a zombie film with a definite different take on it. And I like the way that they played around with things in this film. They kind of, you know, they tackle the idea of like soldiers coming home from the war and, you know, having PTSD and like not being themselves, and how war affects them and their family members. There's even at one point, because Andy he really is just kind of like almost in like a zombie-like state, basically. And so at one point, the father is very upset about this. He gets angry, you know, he kind of talks about how, you know, it's not his son that has like come back, and it's not his Andy, and the mother is trying to, you know, trying to explain to him that Andy's just returned from war. Obviously, like, things aren't going to be exactly perfect right away. And, you know, she says, like, we don't know what he was been through over there, and they end up in this big fight. And the father even says, like, well, you know, I went to war and I didn't come back like this. And she's like, well, yeah, like, you're not Andy. And the father kind of blames her and, you know, like, applies that she, you know, raised Andy to be too sensitive. And like, it's her fault that he's reacting badly to whatever happened, and she's kind of blaming him for Andy going in the first place, that, you know, if he hadn't put so much pressure on Andy, then Andy wouldn't have enlisted in the first place. And it really just shows, you know, that aspect of what can happen when people return. I mean, I know it's not always the case, obviously, but I mean, it does happen, and people do come back messed up, unfortunately, and it affects your families. And I really, really liked that they tackled such a, I guess, important and serious subject in a very different way, by also kind of turning it into a zombie film a little bit. But they do the whole zombie thing very differently, because they also kind of tackle the, I guess, idea of drug addiction, which can also unfortunately happen to soldiers as well, and other sorts of addictions. But Andy has to, spoiler, he has to take the blood from his victims, like, actually straight from the vein, and inject it into himself. And you only see that happen once, but when you see the scene, it's so intense, and he, you know, he injects it into himself, and he kind of, like, leans back, and it, like, really focuses on his face, and it's kind of the, I guess, this reaction that someone who is taking those types of drugs would have. Granted, I don't know. I have never done hard drugs. Not my boat. But yeah, they just tackle, like, very serious subjects in this film, in the form of a horror / zombie movie, and I really, really liked it. It has a very interesting end, which I'm not going to give away too much. It's odd, I'll say that, but I did really, really like this film. So, and I mean, you guys know zombies aren't my fave, but I like the way that they did this one. And obviously I like when films tackle serious subjects. Horror has, you know, gets a lot of flack, but it has its long-running history of tackling, you know, serious subjects in a way. So I highly suggest checking this one out if you have not seen it. If you have happened to see it, let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments below. I would definitely love some, you know, if any of my viewers have served, I'd love to know your opinions on this movie or films that tackle this type of subject. And yeah, if you did enjoy this, please give it a big old thumbs up. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button for more horror related content. And before I go, a quick shout out to my Patreons. Thank you guys so much for helping to contribute to the channel. If you want to know the perks to being a Patreon, links are in the description below, along with all of my other social media. And I will see you guys again tomorrow with another video. Bye.